They told us she was practically perfect in every way. But the real Mary Poppins is cold, vain, and terrifying. What if I told you Disney's Cheerful Nanny was based on something much darker? Mary Poppins is one of the most beloved figures in children's cinema, a magical nanny floating down with her umbrella to sing, dance, and teach life lessons. But what if I told you this sunny image was a complete lie? The original Mary Poppins, written by Pamela Travers, is nothing like the Disney version. She's cruel, manipulative, obsessed with herself, and far more supernatural than we ever realized. In fact, some argue she isn't even human at all. Today on Disturbed Visions, we're peeling back the layers of myth, magic, and menace to uncover the dark history of Mary Poppins. By the end, you'll never look at her the same way again. It all begins with the Banks family, desperate for a nanny. Out of nowhere, the east wind delivers Mary Poppins, a woman who doesn't walk but glides, as if carried by invisible hands. Her eyes, cold and piercing. Her manner, arrogant and dismissive. Her first impression? She makes the Banks family feel like they are lucky she accepted them, not the other way around. From the start, Mary Poppins isn't warm. She's unsettling. Even her arrival carries a supernatural weight, riding the east wind like a spirit summoned from another world. Disney gave us songs and smiles, but Travers gave us something closer to a psychological horror story. Mary Poppins in the books is vain, constantly admiring herself in mirrors, cold, showing little affection for the children, cruel. She gaslights the Banks kids, making them doubt reality after magical events. For example, when Jane and Michael see her uncle floating in the air from laughter, Mary scolds them and insists it never happened. Over and over, she breaks them down until they stop trusting their own eyes. That's not discipline, that's manipulation. Mary Poppins isn't just strict, she's supernatural. She can fly without aid. She speaks the language of animals and even the wind. She's known and respected by strange beings across the world. When the children visit her uncle, he floats under the ceiling, laughing uncontrollably. Mary joins him with ease, proving she doesn't even need magic gas to defy gravity. Later, she introduces the children to Mrs. Corey, an ancient, terrifying woman who literally rips off her own fingers and feeds them to babies like candy before gluing stars to the night sky. And Mary? She treats her with reverence, almost as if Mrs. Corey is an older, higher goddess. Here's the unsettling question. If Mary Poppins isn't human, so what is she? Some say she's a fairy, but her coldness sets her apart. Others argue she's a witch, but witches are too tied to humanity. Another theory is that she's tied to snakes and ancient gods. At one point, Mary celebrates her birthday at the zoo under the full moon. Surrounded by snakes, she sits on a throne of honor while the king cobra crowns her with his golden skin. Animals bow to her. She is treated like royalty. Her bloodline, as described, is serpent-like, cold, sharp, and powerful. Mary's true cruelty isn't just in her magic, but in how she treats the Banks children. She scolds them relentlessly. She threatens to leave if they step out of line. She convinces them their magical adventures never happened. This is classic gaslighting. The children live in constant fear, humiliation, and uncertainty. They crave her approval, but are terrified of her wrath. Psychologists today would call it emotional abuse. In the story, it creates a twisted mix of fear and love, almost like Stockholm Syndrome. Pamela Travers, Mary Poppins' creator, wasn't writing a sweet children's story. She was deeply interested in mythology, mysticism, and Eastern spirituality. Travers studied Sufism, Zen, and Theosophy. She blended myths of snake gods, fairies, and dark mother goddesses into Mary's character. Mary Poppins may even reflect archetypes like Kali, the Hindu goddess of destruction and creation, often depicted with snakes and wild, terrifying power. This connection explains why Mary Poppins is both nurturing and cruel, both protector and tormentor. She embodies the duality of ancient mother goddesses, feared, respected, and worshipped. Everything builds to one chilling truth. Mary Poppins is no ordinary nanny. She's a supernatural entity. Perhaps a fairy, perhaps a serpent goddess, perhaps something older than myth itself. She bends reality. She commands animals. She terrifies and manipulates children, yet somehow wins their hearts. When she leaves on the west wind, she doesn't say goodbye. She leaves behind only a portrait and a note. The bank's children, scarred yet devoted, cling to the hope that she might return. The Disney Mary Poppins is a lie, a sanitized version of something much darker. Pamela Travers' Mary is a vain, manipulative, and supernatural being, closer to a god or demon than a kind nanny. She embodies fear and fascination, cruelty and care, light and darkness all at once. So next time you hear a spoonful of sugar, remember, the real Mary Poppins was more snake than songbird. Like and subscribe to see the darkness lurking behind the stories you thought you knew. Discover it all here on Disturbed Visions.